Illinois is a great destination in summer, but the state's extensive cultural attractions and great shopping make it a fun place to visit any time of year. Chicago is the state's most popular destination, drawing travelers from across America and around the world. This is where you'll find some of the state's best retail options, restaurants, museums and cultural venues. The city is also home to some fantastic buildings designed by architects like Frank Lloyd Wright and Louis Sullivan. Springfield, the state capital, is another city with numerous things to see and do, including the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum and the Donna Thomas House. Throughout the state, you'll find interesting places to visit, from a prehistoric Indian settlement at Cahokia Mounds to the tranquil Anderson Japanese Gardens in Rockford. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 rated tourist attractions in Illinois. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more awesome travel guides, and make sure you hit the notification bell so that you know when we publish a new video. So now let's cut to the chase. At 10, Cahokia Mounds State Historic Site. Cahokia Mounds is known for being the largest prehistoric Indian settlement north of Mexico and includes the greatest concentration of mounds. In total, there are 120, with the 100-foot-high Monk's Mound at the center. This is the largest prehistoric earthwork in the Americas. The site was occupied from 700 to 1400 CE, primarily by the Mississippian culture. The area encompasses nearly 6 square miles, and at its peak, around 1100, may have had 10 to 20,000 inhabitants. Besides being a state historic site, Cahokia is also a National Historic Landmark and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. An interpretive center tells the story of the site and the people who built it with audio-visual presentations, artifacts, graphics and dioramas, including a life-size village recreation. At 9, Starved Rock State Park. Starved Rock State Park, southwest of Chicago on the Illinois River, is noted for its beautiful canyons and waterfalls. The park has 13 miles of trails allowing access to some of the most scenic areas, and guided hikes are also available for safe and educational hiking experiences. The park is listed on the Register of National Historic Landmarks, while the buildings are on the National Register of Historic Places. Starved Rock offers many recreational opportunities in its 18 canyons, including fishing and boating on the river, picnicking, horseback riding, camping and winter sports. The name of the park comes from a dark story about a group of Illini Indians who took refuge on the rock and were left by their enemies to starve to death. At 8, it's Magnificent Mile in Chicago. A walk down the Magnificent Mile, a portion of Michigan Avenue, is one of the must-dos for visitors to Chicago. The shopping along here is some of the best in Chicago, with everything from everyday stores to high-end boutiques. Stop in at any one of the fantastic museums, restaurants, hotels and other entertainment options along what locals call the Mag Mile. The John Hancock Building, the Wrigley Building and the Tribune Tower line this street, and it is just a few blocks from Lake Michigan and the famous Navy Pier. Next up at 7, it's Lincoln Park. Lincoln Park stretches for 6 miles along the shore of Lake Michigan and is the city's biggest park. One of its biggest attractions is the Lincoln Park Zoo, one of the oldest zoos in the country. It is home to a wide variety of mammals, birds, amphibians and reptiles. Popular residents include lemurs, two-toed sloths, whoever they may be, African lions, polar bears and a red panda. The Lincoln Park Conservatory is located nearby, home to exotic tropical plants in 4 huge greenhouses, including palms, ferns and orchids. The park is also home to the Peggy Noterbert Nature Museum and the Chicago History Museum, as well as a theatre, walking trails and a beach. Next up at 6, it's Willis Tower Skydeck. From the top of the Willis Tower Skydeck, tourists can see up to 50 miles over 4 states and Lake Michigan. The Skydeck stands at 1,353 feet above the ground on the 103rd floor, and the ledge's glass floor extends from the side of the building to give braver visitors the opportunity to look straight down. No thanks. Another great spot where you can admire the city from above is 360 Chicago, located in the John Hancock Building. Tourists can enjoy the glass-walled observation deck or check out the unique view from the Tilt, a glass enclosure that tips you out for a look down at 1,000 feet above the magnificent Mile. I might give that a miss too. At 5, it's Shedd Aquarium. The Shedd Aquarium is one of the best places to visit in Chicago, especially if you have kids in tow. Set on the banks of Lake Michigan, this large space is home to over 32,000 sea creatures from across the globe. The Abbott Oceanarium houses animals from the Pacific Northwest. This is where you'll find sea otters, sea lions and beluga whales. The sharks live in the Wild Reef exhibit, as do spotted rays, mandarin dragonets and the white-spotted guitarfish. Underwater strummer. The best way to see the Shedd Aquarium is on a guided tour. Known as the Must-See Tour, these excursions grant tourists an up-close and personal view of the attraction's most famous residents, like turtles, sharks, Pacific white-sided dolphins, and beluga whales. The tours take 75 minutes and take place twice a day. Families with children 6 and older are welcome to join. At 4, it's the Art Institute of Chicago. The Art Institute of Chicago is one of the city's foremost cultural institutions and known internationally for its collections. Housed in a late 1800s building, along with other more modern extensions, the Institute contains everything from ancient sculpture to post-impressionist paintings and many other areas of interest. Permanent collections include African art, medieval and Renaissance arms and armor, contemporary art and textiles. At 3, it's Wrigley Field. Baseball fans won't want to miss a visit to Wrigley Field on Chicago's north side. One of the top attractions in Chicago and one of the country's oldest Major League Baseball parks, this historic spot has been home to the Chicago Cubs since 1914. If you're visiting during baseball season, be sure to book tickets to a game. You can't miss it. You can also sign up for a tour of the ballpark, where you'll learn about this venue's 100-year history. Some tours allow visitors to take photos in front of the famous Ivy Wall. No matter how big a fan you are, you're sure to be impressed and happily entertained at Wrigley Field. And now at 2, it's Navy Pier. Located along Chicago's waterfront, Navy Pier is a great tourist destination with all kinds of things to help entertain people of any age. Museums, restaurants, shopping, movies and theatre are some of the options available. Highlights include the Centennial Wheel, the Chicago's Children's Museum and the Chicago Shakespeare Theatre. Due to the outdoor nature of some of the attractions, the best time to visit Navy Pier is in summer. However, you'll always find plenty of things to do here year-round. During the Christmas holidays, for instance, families flock to Navy Pier for Light Up the Lake, an annual indoor lights exhibit featuring fun attractions like a skating rink, Santa visits and a winter wonderland forest. Sounds great. And finally, at number 1, Millennium Park and Cloud Gate. Located in downtown Chicago, Millennium Park is part of the much larger Grant Park. Cloud Gate sits at the center of the park, a 110-ton polished steel sculpture. Inspired by liquid mercury, the curved surface reflects the Chicago skyline and the tourists who walk through its arch. Millennium Park is also home to Crown Fountain, a unique modern interpretation of ancient gargoyles that uses projected images of Chicago's citizens. The Lurie Garden is also in this park, a 4-season garden that is open to the public at no charge. There are special events throughout the year at the garden and outdoor concerts at the J. Pritzker Pavilion. The park is centrally located, close to many of Chicago's top tourist attractions and shopping. Of course. And there you have the top 10 rated tourist attractions in Illinois. Did you like what you saw? Let us know in the comments down below. Share this video with your friends and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more fantastic travel guides. So see you next time.